Hey, what's up? My name is Alex and I'm a music producer. Today I want to do a musical analysis of the FF14 Eden Refulgence theme. Now, I should begin this video by saying there is going to be spoilers of the story of the 5.2 update on FF14. So I haven't played that part yet. Maybe watch this video later. I haven't played it either, but I want to try my best to see if I can understand what the music is telling about the story of the game up until that point. This track has been specifically requested by someone over Patreon, and I picked that as the request of the month. Over on Patreon, you can ask me to review whatever music you want from any game, and once per month I will pick one of the many requests and do a video based on that. So today it's the turn of Refulgence. Like the violin there, and this is like Shiva's melody. Again, spoilers. Basically what happened now, I think, is that Ryan summons Shiva. She uses herself as a vessel as to summon Shiva. So you begin this theme by hearing that ba 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 ba. That melody is very reminiscent of the Footstep in the Snow theme. Another thing we have is the violin that is responding to the melody very beautifully. So that's why it sounds even better now. It's even more emotional because you have this color responses feeling the voice. But also, did you notice there's the prelude underneath all of that? So there's a bit of everything already. This is a very beautiful intro that makes me feel very emotional and makes me feel like, am I the good guy or the bad guy? You know, when the boss themes of a game are so sad and they make you understand the perspective of the boss itself, you are really left questioning what you're doing. And I think right now with this fight, you're fighting Ryan, and that's, you know, that's one of our gang. So it's kind of weird. You have this conflict. And it's very beautifully portrayed in just 10 seconds of music already. Okay. I have some cool drums now. Funky guitars like in the twinning. I like that. And that bass. Wow, there's lots to talk about already. Sorry, I'm gonna pause the video again in a second. So the first thing that stands out for me about this part, and there's many things to talk about, is the melody. It sounds like an ice level melody. You know, there's those ice levels in games where the music is so freaking beautiful and elegant and has a certain mystic to it. This is what the melody sounds like now. I'm gonna outline on piano for you. As you can hear, it's just very few notes, not doing something too crazy. It's quite simplistic, but it has a very interesting sound. It sounds like a glacier, which I mean, like, sounds cold, sounds huge. And that's because there's, I think, on these instruments that they're using, I think they're using maybe some piano, some strings, and some synthesizers layered together. And it sounds like they had added a lot of reverb and a lot of delay. So I'm gonna show you how this sounds like when I remove that. So this is without reverb, without delay. And this is with. So that sense of space kind of feels like I'm in front of a huge valley of ice, and whatever ice cream is gonna echo to infinity. That's sort of what I feel like. And this kind of reminds me of Phendrana Drifts from Metroid, which had very beautiful piano that has a lot of delay on it. Another thing I notice is how now we feel like we're in fight mode and not feels anymore. And I think the responsibility for that falls onto the percussion. So you have these very fast metallic sounds as well as sort of like a melodic thip thing that kind of gives the vibe of like rhythm to this track that makes you feel like, okay, fighting engaged. Another thing I love is the second half of this part that sounds like tense or funky, kind of like in the twinning, which, by the way, I made an analysis of that track, the twinning, and I mentioned some things in that analysis that I'm not gonna mention here. So check out that one as well on this channel, but this second half sounds like this. You have that sort of like kick, snare, 4 on the floor pattern that sounds like dance music, and you also have those funky guitar chords that they are played on distorted guitar in the original track. Sounds pretty dancey, pretty funky. I love that. And that bass slaps. So cool. Wow. This sounds like, kind of reminds me of Deja Vu, a track from a Square Enix game. I can feel Shiva's pain, or Ryan's pain at this point. Who is it? Is it Shiva? Is it Ryan? Is it Lady Iceheart? Are they representing all three together? That's curious. What I like about these Eden remixes is that they are full of references to the original theme. So here, the melody, ba 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 ba, sounds like footsteps in the snow again, but it has a very different rhythm. Another thing I love is how dancey this sounds. And I love this sort of those passages. They show so much taste, which kind of reminds me of like dance music of 2005, 2003. If you're my age, you're gonna remember that. And that's why I say this reminds me of Deja Vu, which is this track from To Oblivion with You. It's from a Square Enix game, and what I find similar is how the bass uses these beautiful octaves, just like in the twinning, by the way. And also you have that beautiful female vocal on top of that, so like dance with female vocals. I love to hear that now. It's like Shiva in the disco. Also, the harmonies are pretty cool. Like there's some strings playing some chords, which make this even sadder. And like, oh, I'm hearing the feels. Because, you know, like chords, which is where, like when you play chords is when you're playing multiple notes together that harmonically send you a specific message. Chords are sort of like the road. If melody is a car rushing through to get you to a certain destination, chords are the streets that determine where that car can go. So if I play very sad chords, I will make you go through a sad route and the melody is gonna sound even sadder. Thanks to these chords, that's what is happening. That's a very stupid explanation of how harmony works. Also, in the second half, you have this sort of chords in the strings that are giving certain direction to the track. Ending on a high cadence, just like the melody does. And it's, you're like, oh, what comes after? What comes after? You want to know. These tracks are so beautifully written. And I think this wasn't Masayoshi Soken, by the way. Someone on YouTube wrote that someone in the Square Enix composer's team was in charge of remixing the tracks for the Eden raid. That's probably why this sounds even more electronic than usual, but whoever wrote this arrangement does a very good job of referencing the old melodies from the Masayoshi Soken teams and also referencing the lyrics, like the emotions of Shiva in the lyrics. That's freaking amazing to hear it. Of those funky guitars. That vocal is interesting though. How many voices am I hearing? Okay, this sounds quite creepy. You know how in movies when someone gets possessed by the devil, he has double voices, like the devil voice and also his normal voice, so it's like different tones. That's kind of what the vibe I'm getting from the vocals right now, because this doesn't sound like it's one voice only. Like it's probably something like this. Which, by the way, does this remind you of anything? But anyway, I like this fact that there's multiple voices, because now this is sort of like telling us, okay, this person singing in the vocals is Shiva. But now in the climax, they put two voices. So does this represent that Ryan is possessed by Shiva or something? I don't know, because I haven't played this part, but I feel like that. I feel like they're trying to say that with the music, and that's pretty cool if they are. Okay, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, even more voices now. So many things happening. What the hell? That bass. Wow. Wow. I'm feeling so much conflict and emotion in the vocals. And the bass is slapping so hard. That sounds freaking intense now. I feel the emotions of Shiva rising even higher, and that's because the voices became like quadruple or something. Now I really feel like we're hearing the feelings of Ryan, Shiva, and Lady Iceheart, because the vocals are doing something like this. which sounds quite weird because I'm feeling some dissonances, as if like there's some notes in here which are not supposed to be there. They sound very unpleasant, like this one. This G sharp, it's very weird. It sounds out of key. And key, again, is like a concept of when you write a song, you start by picking one key, one collection of notes that you're gonna use as a reference for the whole track. If you go outside of those notes, it's like using a color in your canvas that you weren't supposed to use for a whole painting, okay? And it looks weird or it sounds weird. That's what dissonance is like. And I feel this note here is kind of like, what doesn't make sense in the whole arrangement? Is this representing conflict? The internal discord between Shiva and Ryan, or Ryan it's herself for some reason, I don't know. It sounds very interesting and tasty. But underneath that, we have an even more tormented vocal, which sounds like this. It's so hard to make out this melody. Like, it doesn't sound too predictable, doesn't sound too easy to sing. It sounds more like a lament. I feel pain. And actually, this song is not that like pleasant to listen to for some regards. Like this one is, it's not easy listening music. And that's exactly why it's so effective, I think, for this boss fight. It really makes you feel the angst of the person you're fighting. And again, you're asking yourself, am I doing the right thing? Am I the good guy? Or am I actually killing someone who's already so much in pain? Wow, that's cool. That reminds me of Bloodborne. It happens a lot in Bloodborne. There's those like boss themes, like the one for the last boss. It's like, what? Man, I love that bass. And also, again, footsteps in the snow. Wow. Okay, let's analyze what's going on. I'm feeling some very interesting harmonies going on, some very interesting chords, but also da da ba 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 ba. Does that remind you of anything? Have you been paying attention? So this part sounds very cool because, man, there's this bass line that is just out of this world. Kind of reminds me of Daft Punk, by the way, which I'm a huge fan of. And that's because it's like, again, dance, sort of like techno, like those sort of like vibes that we have in that genre of music, and they're being represented in Final Fantasy. Are we having that in Final Fantasy? Like, this is a dream, guys. Like, when I started making music, it was because I felt like video game music people didn't appreciate electronic music as much as they should. And also electronic music people didn't appreciate video game music as much as they should. So I wanted to make video game music that sounds like electronic and orchestral at the same time to kind of cross-pollinate the two worlds and make people understand this is cool, you know? And it's so cool to see those two worlds blending together in this track. I think that this bass sounds so cool because of these grace notes here. Like, they didn't have to add these notes, you know? They could have just kept the bass like this. But instead I think the person who wrote this probably plays bass and understands the importance of adding these little details everywhere. And of course, we're talking about Japanese composers. That's what they do. They're superior. What I love about this part is that it sounds like the storm cleared a little bit. We don't have that dissonance and that chaos anymore. Basically, this part sounds very simplistic because they want you to really pay attention to that main melody. In its simplicity, I have to say they could have probably added some more things because there's now space to do that. I think maybe some cinematic percussion would have worked nice, like something like this. You know, there's space for that. They could have done that very easily, and it would have sounded cinematic. And what I would have added also is maybe a solo, like guitar, cello, or something after. something like that, you know, just to reference again, like Oblivion, as the lyrics of this song are doing so much. That's what I like to do when I write my chorus. I never like to leave so much space. But all in all, this part that we just heard, we had just analyzed, is my favorite part of the track because it's so clear. It's like so cool. If I have to say, my favorite track of the Aiden track so far has been the Ramu. Like the Ramu team, super awesome. Maybe I'm gonna review that, but this one was requested by someone over Patreon. Thanks for the person who requested it, because this was a very freaking cool track to listen to and to break down. If you want to check out more analysis like this one, they are on the channel, and check out the Patreon page if you want to see me doing even more of these videos at a better quality and you want to have a chance of requesting whatever track from whatever game you like. That is all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.